Welcome back, everyone. We now have Mr. Alvin Tong, CEO of OAC, who will share about OAC's key growth areas and the exciting new job offers they have to offer. During the session, please feel free to put any questions you have in the Q&A window, and we'll address these live during the session. I'll now hand the time over to Alvin to share more.
Thank you, Florence. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me and OAC to be here. And thank you for the audience who are in the audience. I can't see you, but I hope that this will be beneficial to you. So over the next 30 minutes, I will be taking you through the job opportunities with us and share with you a little about OAC. So I'll take about 15 minutes to just go through a little information about us, and then the next 15 minutes, the second 15 minutes will be Q&A. So Florence, please come in after about 15 minutes to let me know that 15 minutes is up, if that's all right, please.
Sure, we will let you know. Thanks.
All right. I think up front, we are looking to hire quite a few people, and the details of these positions are in our e-booth at the IVF Virtual Career Fair e-booth. So you can go to our booth there and find out more details about these job opportunities that we are offering. So I won't go through them here, but I will just very quickly. So we're looking for people who would connect with consumers and clients, and that's very, very important. That's the essence of what we do. I think the second position is more about marketing. How do we develop communities and reach out to the consumers? The third position is, say support staff here, but it's very important, the operation, because we are 100% digital. So in that sense, it's important that, so most of the heavy lifting is done by the systems, but obviously still need human to run it and to support it. So the support staff here is instrumental actually in terms of ensuring the end-to-end digital processes are running smoothly. And of course, we are licensed by the MAS, or regulated by the MAS, and therefore, not just because of that, but we have our responsibility to the consumers, and therefore providing the right security, governance, risk management, and compliance. Very important. We're looking for a senior person to help support us there. So those are the four positions that we have, and more details are there in the in our booth. You could go there and have a look. So something a little bit about us. Why does OAC exist? Why are we doing what we're doing? I think basically, I mean, just a little bit about myself. I've been in this industry, insurance, financial services, and wealth management for 25 years. So been there for a long time. So I grew up from the insurance area. I think for up to about 100 years, depending on which markets you're in, as in which countries you're in, you know, up to about 100 years, the financial players have mostly just been doing things, I think, as in what they you know, they continue to do things in what they've been doing for so many years. And the focus is, I think, in many ways, they're just doing things on what they need to do to protect, you know, what they have, you know, rather than thinking what is right for the consumers. I mean, that's financial industry, I think, is lagging behind many other industries. Airlines, maybe what, 10 plus years or even 20 years ago, when Virgin came in and AirAsia followed suit and so make sure that everybody can afford to fly. Before that, it was national airlines having a monopoly pricing on that. So just, I think the majority of players in the financial services sector, especially the dominant ones, the big guys, it's difficult for them to detach away from what they've been doing because they have the market share to protect. And sadly to say, I think most of them are actually not thinking for the consumers. I think that's where wealth management and insurance are today. And 20 billions of insurance premiums were paid last year alone in 2020. I believe that most of the people who are paying those insurance actually don't know what they're buying into, and the sort of charges that they've been, the fees that they've been charged. I think fortunately, over the last couple of 2-3 years or so, the robo-advisors sort of emerged, and that at least present an opportunity for the retail consumers to access to lower cost and more fairly cost investment solutions. So I think by and large, I think the robo-advisors have added some value to the market, and that's for low cost investments. So that's been good, but that's in the wealth management market. I think that's much less than 5% market share. So majority, more than 95% of market share, are still sort of dominated by high fees and high charges products that the consumers don't know much about. So if you like, our why is that we're really here to champion for the consumers, to try to make a difference for the consumers. So how do we do that, and how can we help to make a difference? I think the problem for consumers are, high level charges, which are dominant in the market for most products. Yes, the upfront fees of the I think 10 years ago, 5% upfront, down to about now anywhere from 0.5 to 1.5–2% upfront. That's come down, but there's still quite a bit of ongoing fees, whether you can see whether they're transparent, whether they're disclosed or not. That's something that consumers should know and need to know. So the consumer is facing, I guess, the problems where most of the products being put in front of them or that they can have access to are mostly high charges products. And even if it's low fees, and even if the fees are good and fair, there's also too many choices. As in, like, you're presented with, well, okay, I've got 100 funds, where do I go? What do I do with those? Which funds do I choose? Plus, I think majority of consumers also have very little financial literacy, and therefore it's not fair for them to be put in a position to make those decisions themselves. Of course, the MAS has helped by putting in compliance to help consumers to understand more about the investment products, but by and large, these are the problems that are being faced by consumers. The solution that we present is it's one that is we put together sub solutions where it's industry proven in the sense that we partner with best in class institutional players who are best in what they do and know what the sort of the advice that comes from them. And we want to take it from the ones that are typically only accessed by the wealthy individuals, or if you've got money and you have some brains, or you can pick on the best brains in the world, that's only accessed by your 0.1% population. And we want to actually take that to the masses. And And the way we do that is through low cost, what we call low cost institution quality investments. So that's sort of a solution that we do. And the way we do that is that we have put together an OAC platform to enable our corporate clients to reach out to their retail consumers. So we were incorporated last year in Singapore, and we are all about the consumer value proposition, as I sort of mentioned that. We were lucky to partner at the beginning of our journey to partner with a life insurance company in Singapore to come out with the first version of what we call the digital ILP, investment linked product. And that's now been launched in September. And just want to say that that's the second digital ILP in the market and the lowest cost ILP in the market by about 20-30% to the last to the next lowest fee ILP. So that's something to watch out for, and we are now developing the version 2 of that, which comes with low cost, further low cost, and with the sole end-to-end solution. So that's been a bit of our journey so far, and there's still a long way to go. Lots of exciting things that's been come up, so come and join our consumer journey. So I think that's really it, and if I'm happy to take any question and answers, Florence.
Thank you so much, Alvin. The audience, members of the audience, please feel free to pop in your questions in the Q&A. If you feel more comfortable, you can also put it in the chat. We can see both channels. So perhaps during while we wait for questions coming from the floor, perhaps if I could just ask Alvin to share a little bit more about these exciting opportunities that we see on screen here. What is it like to work within those teams, and what are some of the exciting projects that candidates can look forward to be involved in?
Well, okay, that's a broad question. We are a very, very small team. The way we built the team was we've first gone into partnerships with corporate, big corporate partners who would, if you like, we can then leverage on their decades of expertise, right? So the thinking there is that instead of getting a chief investment officer, we've gone on to partner with a top 5 asset management company in the world, right? And that we have access to the investment gurus. There's a special niche team of 70 investment gurus in that company that we have access to, rather than just having a chief investment officer and some investment support staff. So that's one example of, so we sort of built our teams around firstly getting the essential expertise in, right? And we very carefully spent about, I think, a good 9 months on top of the, of course, 20 years of industry experience I have, just talking to various corporate players to select sort of the right person who not just have the expertise, but sharing this consumer sort of vision. And so, yeah, and people who have similar values. So we built the teams around corporate partners. Then we then sort of say, okay, what are the people that we really need to then add value to that? In particular, how can we then focus on the things that matters the most to the consumers?
Okay.
So these positions that you have here are all value-adding positions to, if you like, the corporate infrastructure that we've put together. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. We have 2 questions now from the audience. Wenjin would like to find out a little bit more about how, what are the services that that OAC provides within the insurance industry itself. Maybe we can take that one first.
Yeah, so like what we've done for our first client, so we are a B2B platform that provides sort of end-to-end, not just digital solutions, but investment solutions within sort of that digital end-to-end process. So it's, for example, a life insurance company wants to go and launch another digital IOP product or the IOP product with end-to-end digital processing. We've got that and we're able to launch that within 3 to 6 months, subject to the MAS product approval and all that stuff. Yeah, so that's the offer. So we're very much an OEC platform, and we built that capability on again end-to-end API enabled solution, but then we put on top of it the model portfolios and the investment funds.
I see. Thank you. Hui Hong would like to know more about the culture, the organization culture within OAC.
Yeah, it's as any startup, it's not easy, right? Because I mean, the culture is that obviously, we're looking for two things in people. We're looking for obviously talented people who ticks the box in terms of they have certain skill sets or experience or know-how. But that's obviously important, but also just as important is that these are, how do you say, nice people. These are people who have humility, they may be very smart in their area of expertise, humble enough to then sort of share that with the team and vice versa, right? We have team members who specialize in whether that is tech, whether there's consumer services, whether there's UX, design or strategy, to share that back. So we're looking for people who are humble enough to actually work together despite the different expertise. The sort of culture is, I always say this, right? We're looking for someone in the consumer, we call it consumer connection, but customer service. But if you actually look over across industries, who are the types of people or the types of training that are really good in consumer services, right? I mean, I think the airlines, Singapore Airlines, I think got probably one of the best training program for customer service. The way they train their people, how they talk to consumers, the patience, the EQ, hospitality, the 5-6 star hotels. They really understand trying to, how to actually. The question is, how can I help you? How can I? They keep asking that question. So those customer services people, I think the best people, the best customer service skill sets are from. Those are just two examples of industries. Most likely to be coming from outside the financial services industry, right? So yeah, so we're looking, but then of course, then you have the other thing, then retraining them up to have that wealth management, financial services domain, right? And likewise, right? If we get someone who has a very interest in consumer connection, has got that domain knowledge, and want to how to serve the consumers or clients best, we will be putting them in, hopefully with IVF, in the training that the Singapore Airlines and the 6-star hospitality hotels get exposed to. So those are sort of how I see in terms of the culture.
Right. So apart from a customer-centric mindset and perhaps some experience in, the service industry, what other skill sets do you look for in terms of candidates who would score well for these 4 positions?
I think at the top of my mind, the ones who, if you sort of give them an outcome, here's where we want to get to, and most people, and I don't expect them to have the answer to that, right? Here's the outcome I'm trying to get to, and you don't have the answer to that. But the skill set one needs, or one I'm looking for, is someone who can then ask the right questions, who then navigates way to that outcome, even if they don't know the answers. Whether that they ask the right questions with their peers, we've got corporate partners, we've got clients, or with people they know, and trying to get to that answer. I think that's a very, very important skill set, and that's almost an art. I mean, obviously that can be trained up, but that's almost an art in itself, and that's important, I find, apart from having the tool.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you so much, Elvin. I don't see more questions coming in, so perhaps if you could share at this point, what would make a candidate stand out for you, besides the areas that we have covered, which is a customer-centric mindset, tenacity to find the right solution and work with different partners within the organization. What else would you be looking for, would be that X factor that would make a job candidate stand out for you?
I think the drive the drive and the passion to want to do the right thing by the consumers. And because we are all consumers, right? Myself, you, Florence, everybody, we are all consumers of the financial products, right? And the money that we earn, and what do we want the money to do for us is for our family, right? With our loved ones and all that. And if we feel if we are part of the consumers, just feel the heartache if you high self charges, or if the product has got all this hidden stuff or that, whatever. It's not fair for the consumers who've worked really hard, and these are money that they put aside, and they want to make a decent return for their family. So if you can feel that, right, and that is important, because you will find a way to get to the right solution for the consumers, and that's something that will stand out. I mean, we get lots of CVs who tick the boxes and all that, but that passion to do the right thing for the consumers is key.
Right. This question actually came up quite a bit in other sessions as well. The question is about, are there any support programs within the organization that help somebody transit from outside the sector to within the sector, or for somebody who has maybe not been working for a little while and want to return back to the workforce?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the answer. So, I mean, because of the stuff that we do is very intensive, right? And we work really with some amazing global partners, and they have expertise. By just there working with them, you learn so much from, because you're not just learning from one person, you're learning from that organization. And also I think you'll find that we always see the mindset is, again, it's very much, okay, whatever we do, does this make sense for the consumers? And if you take it from there and take it down to all the steps that you need to do, it's just common sense. We are not reinventing anything new here. We're just taking the best industry proven methodologies, processes, and put it all together. So you're not coming out with new process. Okay, maybe on the tech side, on data analytics, and the way we go about setting up our managing our data lake and all that. That might be a little bit, and also how can we use blockchain? Okay, so some of those things might be a little bit new, has not been done, but in the investment world has been, what, 50, 60 years old. So that's nothing new there. Just putting together all the right facts, research, and then how does this make sense for the consumers, right? By doing that, you would actually, there's so much to learn. It's pretty much, whether you look at it as a bottom up, looking at the processes and what this means for the consumers, or looking at it from top down, okay, here's what the consumers need to get to. How can we help them to get there? So whether it's top down or bottom up, you pretty much learn the whole end-to-end process. So and with that, you see the whole value chain through to from the time the consumer comes in, goes to your app, and going through the client advisory process, taking the advice, executing the advice, that passing on to our custodians then working with the fund managers to execute the investments. All that is done real time and coming back to you. You see the whole process. I think that in itself is substantial learning. So then you'll be able to see the whole industry in that sense.
Right. Thank you. We have almost come to the end of the session. So before we end the session, do you have any last words of wisdom for our job seekers who might be interested to explore opportunities within OAC?
I think most people actually don't know what they want to do until I don't find out what they want to do in life, including myself, until much later, because you just didn't have the experience, exposure, or for whatever reasons. It's important that obviously you got your strengths are important, because your strength gives you things that you can do, and it's important you're able to do what's, so that strength, what you enjoy. But having that passion is not the whole thing, but it's important, because like, for example, in our place, right, I mean, it's there's so much to do, so you still have to wake up day and end the day. So yeah, I mean, having that passion to go along with the strength, i.e. your whatever that you're good at. So find something that you enjoy doing. Obviously, it needs to pay the bills and all that kind of stuff, but I think we are all very fortunate in the sense that if we think about this properly, you'll be able to find there's something that suits you that you would also enjoy. So I hope that was meaningful.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, Alvin, for your time. And I encourage everyone who has more questions to approach OAC and their hiring managers at their booth in the hiring zone. So with that, we'll end the session, and we'll come back here shortly for our last sharing session with the Capital Group. Thank you, Alvin.
Thank you. Thanks, Florence.
Thanks,
Florence.
Okay.
Bye.